So I think one of the key challenges we've got is on the threat on the way in which we distribute funds, the way in which the market approaches it, and that's coming from a number of different angles. One of those angles is the threat of price, the challenge of passive into the active world, and a lot of people talk about that as if it's a binary outcome, as if one side needs to win over the other. I think it's far more sophisticated really than that. It's about coexistence and about what the passive world is doing and shaking up in the active world. I think the traditional approach to active management is not necessarily dead, but needs to change, partly through price, through cheap passive coming in and challenging that squeezed middle where traditional active index plus type management is either under heavy threat of no longer existing or needs to change their model in terms of pricing. So that push downwards, so that rather than looking at it from a perspective of high alpha minus a little bit in terms of that middle, looking at it from a passive plus type perspective, much like the strategy of Index Plus would suggest. So we're seeing that. I think one of the other areas that people are talking about is the way in which single asset is being marketed. Is it now moving to a more arm's length distribution model? And certainly from my side on the multi-asset, as a multi-manager buyer, as a buyer of funds, we are seeing, and we're benefiting from this for sure, that it's really the solution providers who are providing that sort of direct-to-customer experience, and that's typically what certainly on the retail side are looking for. And the single asset buyers are tending to use us as an aggregator for business. So we're seeing increased change in the model of, rather than trying to find a way of reaching the whole market, reaching the market through the aggregators, through the solution providers. And that's something I think we're going to see a continuation of, where less and less groups have more and more control.